Hello traders, welcome to the weekly forecast on gold. Last week we could see the markets moved not really as expected, but then we were still able to catch some good pips. And just as you know, we do on this channel every week we analyze the chart outside the chart before we come to the chart. So let's quickly check what happened last week on our table and see if our data really helped us get some information from what we've always been wanting to get. Let me put it that way. So last week ended, and the eye of the week formed on Wednesday, and the eye of the week formed on Wednesday, and the low of the week formed on Thursday. And according to data I gave here last week, I said we should focus on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thursday was not really part of those days mentioned because it has only occurred once on our table. So Monday has appeared 4 times, Tuesday 5 times, Wednesday 4 times, and now Wednesday is appearing again on our table. So let's quickly change this to 5, and let's change Thursday to 2. Let's change Thursday to 2. So with this, we know what we'll be expecting next week. We should focus on still Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to catch either the low or the high of the week. Then Friday can just be for taking profit or just maximizing your trade. If you're going to be taking any trade on Friday, make sure that you're just scalping. You're not aspiring for too much. You're not aspiring for too much because you might be chased out. So focusing on those days, and we'll see what's going to happen. And quickly, we've gotten to the fourth week in March, and the low of the month formed on the 23rd of March. The high of the month formed 2nd of March, which was on a Monday also. And this is one thing I've noticed from the 3 months so far. I noticed that the first week of every month for gold is always a good time to catch either the high or the low of the month. Yes, because if you check the first month, which was January, the low of the month formed 8th of January, which is like a first week plus a day. Yeah, and then the monthly high formed the 29th of January. So if you want to catch good trades, ensure you pay attention to the first week in the month and also the last week in the month. Because now you can see 29th of January here, then the low of the month in February formed 2nd of Tuesday, which is falling into the first week of the month. And then checking the last week of the month, we saw that 27th of February, market formed the high of the month. Then coming into March, you can see that also the first week, 2nd of March, the high of the month formed, and coming into the last week of March, 23rd of March, the low of the month formed. And you can see that following this with the data we have, every first week, which is the first week, we had 3,000 pips, then the last week, 9,000 pips. In February, first week, 6,000 pips, and then the last week, 1,860 pips. Then in March, we had first week 4,000 pips, and then the last week 2,000 pips, 2,050 pips. So if you want to catch good trades, just focus on, for now, based on the data we have, focus on the first and the last week. Of course, you can argue that we had 5,000 pips in the third week in March. Yes, there's always an exception. You can't expect your data to keep playing out the way you want it to play out. So, in as much as we will be focusing on the first and the last week in the month, we should also that shouldn't exempt us from making some good pips in the second and third month of the or yeah, in the second and third month. So just pay close attention to those days, follow this data, and know that in those days, in those weeks, you'll be focusing on these particular days. So you don't just spend all your week staring at the charts. You know that there are days I will approach the charts. Personally, this coming week, I won't be paying so much attention to Thursday because so far so good for the past 3 months now. It has only occurred on my table twice. So paying so much attention on Thursday is just going to be like a waste of time. And note, Thursdays, don't say Thursday you are not going to make anything. You will still make profit on Thursday if you trade on Thursday, but you shouldn't be expecting much on Thursday. So with this data, we know what we should be expecting in April, and at least, yeah, still have should know what we'll be expecting in April and focus on those days. In April, what will I be doing? I'll be focusing on the first week in April, focusing so much on the last week in April. And in the first week of April, what are the days I'll be focusing on so much? From this data, Tuesday and Wednesday will take so much attention than Monday, even though I'm going to be paying attention on Monday, but I'll focus on Tuesday and Wednesday more to get good entry for either the high of the week or the low of the week. And peradventure, that trade might even be the trade that will be the high or low of the month. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Just focus on those days. And then second week, third week, and the last week in March, in April also, I'll be paying so much attention regarding the number of times these numbers have shown, these days have shown rather. So by then, these numbers would have, changed, and I will now know the days to focus on in the last week in April. So that being said, let's quickly move back to the chart and see what we are expecting for the first week in April. So from what I have, markets didn't really give me enough entry. Like from what I was expecting from the chart, I was expecting market to tap a particular point here before market dropped. It didn't tap, market started dropping, and I was also expecting a movement from somewhere around here. Market didn't tap it, and market kept pushing to the upside. So according to my analysis, market is still in the middle. Market can either go up or down. But regardless, what I would be expecting is if market can give me a drop down one more time to come to take this low, if market can give me that, I'll be expecting this bullish move to the upside. In all the cases, even if market pushes up a little and drops down, you should go for a buy entry. In all the cases, I'll be looking for buys on gold this week. And if this week is going to be a profitable week for me and I get a low of the week, maybe let's say market drops on Monday and I get a good entry on Tuesday here, this is probably going to be the trade of the week. Tuesday to Friday is going to be the trade of the week for me because it's following my analysis and my data. And the market decides to consolidate around this point, on Wednesday, I can find a good buy entry and keep pushing to the upside. My bias is strongly buy, at least to this point. Let's say 4668. So if I get a good sell entry from here, I might just take it to be a scalp because there's a higher chance that market is just going to keep pushing to the upside. Yeah, there's a higher chance that market is going to keep pushing. So don't trade without stop loss this week. Follow your setup, follow your principles, follow your rules. Don't dump in. Don't be scared of missing a trade. If you miss a trade, another one is going to come. So that's basically it. And if I'll see you guys next week.